Testing mic check. I talk to dead people and I still have time to slay. Dead or alive, I keep it cute. And you're listening to the Peter Beth Podcast. Hello, everyone. I was just staring at my microphone and I realized that she is getting crusty, dusty, musty. I need to get a new microphone. It still worked perfectly fine, but the thing with me is that I'm such a perfectionist that sometimes like these little things just bothers me when I look at the certain things. If it's corroded, then it's time for a new one. And plus they're very cheap and on Amazon. Um Hi guys, it's been a while. I'm gonna try to make at least 2 episodes per month starting from now on before the new season. I'm going to end this season probably around like March-ish because March is going to be really busy for me. So I have to like brace myself with that because I am the creative director for Anchor Dance Group for their new production called A Kamai Swan Lake. So go check them out at anchordance.org if you are interested in seeing the production. It's happening in the show is showcasing in April. If you are interested, if you in the Lowell, Massachusetts area, is a beautiful production. They flew me out to Cambodia to work on the project, and now it's going to be premiered here in Lowell, Massachusetts. So go get your tickets there. But anyway, so I'm going to try to end the season around there. And I was on the phone earlier with my best friend. I was like, "Girl, I don't even know what the fuck to talk about. I have no idea. This is why I haven't made any episodes." And I know that a lot of the successful podcasters out there is because they have someone that they can feedback of by going back and forth. And I'm sorry if you hear that noise earlier. It's from my heater. I live in an old home that the heater is pretty loud. I mean, all heaters are kind of loud, right? I don't know. Anyway, ADHD, I'm going off subject. But I was talking to my best friend. I was like, girl, I don't even know what to talk about on my podcast because a lot of these podcasters, they have like special guests and things like that. I do have guests lined up, but I want to wait until it's the right time for them to come in. And it's kind of hard to do podcasts when you're alone to talk about certain things. It's actually, I shouldn't say that because there are people that go on and they have these stories to talk about. I just need to just pick up the microphone, turn on the camera, and just fucking yap away. But anyway, right when I pressed record, I looked over into my bookshelf. I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna read you guys some of the quotes that I have highlighted throughout the books that got me through my life when I was battling depression. And we can go ahead and have conversations through these books that's on to my right side. And the time that I want to talk about, like the time when I was like super depressed, it was like 8, 9 years ago when I was living in Boston. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. And this is when I was like having my spiritual awakening and I started seeing like dead people, communicating with them. So it happened around that time, about 8, 9 years ago. And one of the things that I did was that I was always hanging around Barnes and Nobles and I was always looking through the fashion section because I have a love for fashion. So I was like going through all the magazines and things like that, but something kind of just I just kind of gravitated toward the spiritual section. And I end up purchasing, if you guys are familiar with this book, it's super, what the fuck? It is super famous. It is called a song. What is wrong with me? What the hell? Why can't I talk right now? It is called A Conversation with God by Neil Donald Walsh. It's about this man who had battled depression, gone through divorce, was homeless, and he would always communicate with God, and God never answered him. And he would always write these questions to God in like these notepads or sticky notes, whatever it was. I forgot how it went, but he gave up because he couldn't. He got to the point where like, okay, there is no God. So he just crumbled the paper and just threw it in the trash bin. And as he took a couple step away from his writing desk, something just took over him, and it was like this thought inside of him is telling him like, go back to the desk, and write. It was almost like him having conversation with someone that he don't know what the fuck is out there. So it prompted him to pick up a pen and paper to write out a question again. And to me, that's like in reflection of like um if you are someone who is like a psychic enthusiast in the spiritual world and woo woo, it's almost like automatic writing. It's when you communicate with spirits and the spirits will channel through these pencils that they would write out like words and things like that that was coming through from spirits. I did a section about this. I did like a little history about like automatic writing because this is where the Ouija board derived from. So it was almost like that sense. Going back to Neil Donald's Walsh, he was having a conversation with God without realizing what was happening. So it was pretty cool. I think it's not a conversation with God. What the hell is wrong with me? It's conversations with God, plurals. Okay. Um, so this book got me through a lot, and it is a really powerful book. They translated it into like a lot of different languages. It's Conversations with God and Uncommon Dialogue. There's 3 books, I think, or 4 books. I read the whole thing. Do you see that big chunky one back there? Oh yeah, there's three books on this conversation that he had with God. So I'm gonna open up a page. I don't know where I'm gonna land, and because a lot of these quotes and things when I read throughout these books, it moved me, and I highlight them because just in case they're going to be a time where I need to go back and reflect on these books that these authors have written, and it changed my life. It changed my motherfucking life. Okay, so let's go. There's a bookmark there. I started to read this again, but see, okay. Well, this is simple. I don't know why I highlighted this, but it says, "You see, to a doctor or a nurse, death is failure. Failure." I can't fucking talk today. It's because my mouth is a little dry. I've been drinking coffee. Okay, let's go back. You see, to a doctor or a nurse, death is failure. To a friend or relative, death is disaster. Only to the soul is death a relief, a release. Ooh, that's powerful. That's why I highlighted. Okay, so because I am a psychic medium, I've learned so much from the souls and the afterlife, spirits, ghosts. I wouldn't call them ghosts. Why am I saying ghosts? But spirits in the soul, right? The fact that at the end of the sentence it says, only to the soul is death a relief, a release. Speaking of the soul, this is where our life energy comes from. It's the soul. Have you ever like hear people talk about like, oh, you need to speak from the soul, you need to dance from the soul, you need to move from the soul? That's real because people think that the body housed the soul, but actually soul kind of really just housed the body. And when I say that, is that this is just to me. I always say this. I have this like saying that the skin, the body, is just a mere thing. It's just a materialistic thing that we're gonna rot. This is why we get sickness, we get bruised and stuff like that, right? But the soul is where we need to reflect. We're not the body, we are the soul, right? Until you can understand the soul and the living and life after death, that's when you can accept that we come and go. And the fact that we always think that death is a disaster, when you understand that we are here temporarily, it's just like what this quote is saying, like only to the soul the death is a relief, a release. It's because how you say that word? Harvard? Howard? Why am I trying to make up words? We fucking carry on so much like headaches and heartaches and sickness and things of that nature that it consumes our mind until we transition to the other side, it's release. When I get connected with your departed loved ones, with the soul, they always come through with a lighter energy. They let go of every sickness, of every burden and feelings and emotions. None of that matters on the other side. And this is why the soul is trying to teach us that all of this don't matter. And I'm not saying that sickness don't matter. It's not that. Not that the sickness don't matter, because it does matter. What I'm trying to say is that the little things that we try to take control of, it ruins us. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Sometimes it's easier to just let go. Isn't that great? I hope you guys understand my fucking drift, because right now I can fucking explain shit. Let me flip another one. Okay, well, this one's highlighted in pink. I didn't realize I did that in pink. So it says, God had said, every heart which earnestly ask, which is the path to God's, to, oh my gosh, one more time. Every heart which earnestly ask, which is the path to God, is shown. Each is given a heartfelt truth. Come to me, come to me along the path of your heart, not through a journey of your mind. Wow. Okay, that one's great too. I always say that for you to speak to the other side or get a connection to the other side, or even God, whoever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, the soul, the spirit, it comes from the heart. So people ask me, how do I differentiate what's the difference between my mind and what is actually really communicating with me? And as I always say, it's the vibration that stems from your heart. God speaks to everyone from the heart. It's not the mind. And sometimes the mind can be really fucked up. It's fact. You're not your mind. The mind is what creates insecurities. God don't speak to you in that sense. When you feel low, when you feel a little insecure, when things just doesn't feel right, is because the mind is what's creating all of that. It's creating all of the things that you don't want to do, and that's like all the fear-based feeling that's coming up. God speak in a higher vibration. Anything right now, I feel it right now too. Anything that just moves you while you're driving, and even the music and all, even if you have like these thoughts, right? And of like producing something, if you're a creative person, like, oh, I can't wait to go home and make an outfit, because you feel excited, because at the end of it, how do you feel about it? Excited and happy, like you're ready to go in and move. That's God talking to you. Like, go in to the studio and dance and create. Because even though it's in your mind, it's what's happening there. The heart is controlling all of that, and it's manifested into your thoughts. Now, if you have these thoughts of like, oh, I want to be a top designer, but I will never get there because all of this, the money, the finance, the problem that's happening at home and things like that, of that nature, and it's making you feel really low. That's not God. That is not God. So I'm glad I highlighted that. And if you fucking listening to this right now, bitch, like, get your back. I lost the page that I wanted to save because I'm starting to read this book again. See, I told you, ADHD. But anyway, like, listen to your heart. You know that saying? That's powerful too. Listen to your heart as the heart. Listen to your heart. What's that fucking song? Was that a song, or am I just dreaming? Am I making shit up? That's a song, right? Okay, so let's go through one more before we switch the book. Here's another one that's highlighted in pink. There is only one thing you can do. You must honor your feelings. What did I say about feelings? What did I say about feelings? For honoring your feelings means honoring yourself. Oh my gosh. I can't wait till I get through this fucking book again. Okay. There is only one thing you can do. You must honor your feelings. For honoring your feelings means honoring yourself. Okay. I speak upon this matter all the time too. Um, your spiritual self. And when I say getting into your spiritual self, doesn't always mean like meditation and finding a religious path and things of that nature. It's not about that. Being spiritual is all about connecting with your higher self. If you can't connect with that word with your higher self, it's a self awareness. It's a self awareness feeling. And that's where your highest self comes from. And the thought, remember, like I said, the thought, the thought is not you. It's the feelings that comes from the heart. And you must love your neighbor as you love yourself. How can you ever expect to understand and honor the feelings of another if you cannot honor the feelings within yourself? Ooh, bitch! Fuck me up, God. Fuck me up. Oh my gosh, one more, one more. Damn, I'm like feeling it right now. I needed this. Okay, here's one that's yellow. Oh, okay. I'm gonna read before. This is a couple sentences before I highlight, but I will tell you what's highlighted. It is true that when you achieve a certain states of being over a long period of time, success in what you are doing in the world is very difficult to avoid. Yet you are not to worry about making a living. This is where I highlight things. True masters are those who have chosen to make a life rather than a living. Oh my gosh! Oh, bitch. Okay, okay. I'm gonna read that again. True masters are those who have chosen to make a life rather than a living. Okay, you know that saying that when you get into a job, let's just say like you have a career, and some people are afraid to dive into a certain career path because you enjoy what you're doing, and when the payment comes in, and then you're no longer going to enjoy it because then it feels like work. This is why you got to in your career right now still have that fun aspect behind it. And I know that sometimes working under someone can change that for you. This is why sometimes we also got to step away from career path that no longer serve you purpose, that shuts your creative ability away, that shut your childhood like memories and feelings away from the things that you want to pursue in life. Um, and also, I say this funny quote among my friends. We joke about it all the time, but they know how serious I am with it because I am serious about it. But I also like say it in a joking matter too. I always say this thing where I look at them and I go, sis, your life is meant to be lived. So live your life. It's the life part that makes it purposeful, that makes it beautiful, not the living part. Because living, when you say living, it's just like, oh, I'm just getting by to live. But that's not life. That's not what your life is meant to be. You're meant to just live your life. To live your life to the fullest. Live it now, bitch. If you're fucking listening to this right now, and if you're watching this right now, like I'm looking at you dead in the eyes, like, what are you doing with yourself right now? Why are you not pursuing your dreams? Why are you not going after the girl that you like or the man that you like? What's holding you back? Stop being a fucking little bitch and go for it. Oh my gosh, one more, one more, one more. Okay. Okay. It goes, this is where I highlight it. It goes, you cannot have anything you want. The very act of wanting something pushes it away from you. Ain't that the fucking truth? That's like manifesting. It's like the art of manifesting. Wanting something is wanting something is putting the wanting something is like it's the lack of not having anything there until you truly get to the point where you'll tell yourself that I will have that, or knowing that even though at this point right now you don't have it, but you know that in the future you will be able to receive it. It's also not having things right now. Let's just say you don't have, for example, I don't have a car right now. My car was repoed like 2 years ago, I think, or a year and a half ago. I don't fucking remember. I try not to put that thought in my head where like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get a car again because it's hard. It's difficult to, big purchases is hard to come by. And I refrain from doing that because I will always say right now I might not have it, but I know that in the future I will drive a beautiful car that I'm going to own. And I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful for whatever it is that's in front of me. Even if I don't have the car, I'm able to rely on friends and family and the fucking bus and the fucking train to get to work. I'm so grateful for that because I know that in the future, my dream car is going to come. Fuck the dream car. People are going to end up driving me around. I'm going to have a limousine. I'm just going to sit behind the fucking limo driver. I'm just going to tell him, like, drop me at the Met Gala, okay? Isn't that great? Oh my gosh. Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, Uncommon Dialogue, an Uncommon Dialogue. Go get yourself this book. It's beautiful. Now I'm going to read another book that also changed my life. I cried a lot throughout this book. It's called The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael Singer. This book had taught me a lot about listening to the feelings from within and not so much in your thoughts. So I'm just gonna flip a motherfucking page and read. Ooh, oh my gosh, bitch! I don't remember. Look at this. Look at all the highlights. Look at all the highlights. I'm gonna read you one of the long ones because this looks some serious shit. Okay. Okay. It says the mind has to try to make it so that. Okay. Excuse me. I'm gonna go from the beginning. Can you imagine somebody trying to do that? I don't know where that. Okay. This is why I highlight this. Okay. The mind has to try to make it so that everything you say is said the right way, taken the right way, and has the right effect on everybody. It has to make sure that everything you do is interpreted and seen the right way, and that nobody does anything that hurts you. It has to make sure that you get everything you want and that you don't ever get what you don't want. The mind is constantly trying to give you advice about how to make it all okay. That is why the mind is so active. You gave it an impossible task to do. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I know that was long, but I'm going to read that again. The mind has to try to make it so that everything you say is said the right way, taken the right way, and has the right effect on everybody. It has to make sure that everything you do is interpreted and seen the right way, and that nobody does anything that hurts you. It has to make sure that you get everything you want and that you don't ever get what you don't want. The mind is constantly trying to give you advice about how to make it all okay. That is why the mind is so active. You gave it an impossible task to do. Wow. I say a lot of these things too. Like, this goes, I know this kind of don't really have a reflection with each other, but I always say these things that a lot of the blessings comes from you. You block your own blessings. And that also kind of correlates with that because your mind is constantly running and trying to make other people happy so that way you can be happy. But if you allow yourself and release yourself away from these thoughts that serve you no fucking purpose, you will see how how beautiful your life can be without these thoughts running in your fucking mind 24/7. And the fact that Michael have written in a way where you gave an impossible task to do, you gotta stop doing that because you're actually running yourself dry and exhausted. Being mentally exhausted is also it's also like a thing that will affect you physically, right? Think about that. Here's a little small one. Okay. Your psyche is communicating through your psyche is communicating through its universal language. Fear, self-consciousness, jealousy, insecurity, anxiety, they are all fear. Your psyche your psyche is communicating through its universal language, which is fear, self-conscious, jealousy, insecurity, anxiety. They are all fear. And where's your psyche? Where does your psyche lies? Your fucking brain. Everything, all of that, all of those fucking negative thoughts, bitch. Ooh, I'm getting fucking mad right now. Oh my gosh, yes, here. I'm gonna flip the page. This is great. This is great. See, look, oh my gosh, I highlight a lot. Okay, one last one. This book is beautiful. When you feel pain, simply view it as an energy. Just start seeing these inner experiences as energy passing through your heart and before the eye of your consciousness. Then relax. Do the opposite of contracting and closing. Relax and release. Relax and release. This is why stepping away to heal. And I know that I say this all the time too. Like you don't ever fully heal. You're going to keep healing till the day that you die. But the fact that Michael have written that relax and release is really just to fall back and let the energy go. And this is also teaching you to not hold on to things and controlling matters that you know that it's not gonna benefit you. Relax and release. Take a motherfucking deep breath and let go. Beach. Changed my motherfucking life. This one was The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. Super powerful. Super, super powerful. I have gifted these books to two of my close friends, and I hope that those hoes read it, but which I don't, because I know they're not readers. Another book is Where Two Worlds Meet. This is by Janet Nohavik. She rest in peace. She also passed away because Neil Donald Walsh also passed away. How to develop evidential mediumship. In here, I have highlighted a certain part in the book, even though it's more mediumship. But there are some parts where a lot of you can actually take away from this, and this is also dealing with like grief and connecting with the afterlife. You don't have to be a psychic medium. At the end of the day, we're all mediums in some sort of way. So this book is pretty good. If you're looking to develop your mediumship ability, pick up this book. It's called Where Two Worlds Meet by Janet Nohavik. It teaches you to get connected with your departed loved ones, and if you want to become an evidential medium, great book to read. Okay, so I highlight each life has its own individual losses, grief, and hardship. Yet most of us walk around with our emotions bottled up inside. Loss is an inevitable part of this life. There's no way to avoid it. Part of our role as mediums is to help others to cope with their losses and their pain. Okay, I know that this is speaking in terms of like mediumship, but we can also deal with loss and pain coming out from this. And the fact that in this highlighted section, we can't avoid these things. What make us do what make us chose to go what may I when we have these bad habits and toxic traits that comes about, it's because we are avoiding something. There's something that needs to be looked into yourself deeper. And sometimes you can't see it. Sometimes it's someone else. But you also have to open and release these energy and invite love to come back in, because the thing with grief, sometimes people kind of build a wall up and they're blocking themselves from receiving love. When you release a little bit of that wall, knock down some of that brick off the wall a little bit, just peep through the fucking little hole from the wall, you see how beautiful life can be when you allow some other form of energy and love to come in to help you out and deal with it, you know and the other one, this one's cool. I highlighted all major religions believe in an afterlife, yet mediumship is not religious work. It's deeply spiritual work. Okay, great. The fact that I highlighted that because I just also want to remind people that when I do this work, I come before religion, even my own practice as a Buddhist, because me getting into more of my spiritual work, and again, remember what I said about being spiritual is all about self awareness. I've learned so much from my parents. And there are things where my dad has said that, like, he doesn't believe in some of the things that the Buddhist teaching says, but he doesn't want me to hold on to those things because some of the religion practices is just seem out of pocket. And with my spiritual work that I do, I get back into my spiritual self. And then I also get you to see your spiritual self. All religions across the board teach one thing, and just like what I highlighted here, and we all believe in the afterlife, and we all believe in love. And when I say the afterlife, doesn't always mean like, because Buddhists, we believe in reincarnation and things like that. Some people believe that we just go to heaven. Some people believe that we come back and relive it again. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. We preach one thing, and that is love. Okay. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really appreciate all of you that's been following my work. I'm excited. I'm excited for my podcast. I told my best friend that I just need to write out all the things that if I have ideas in mind and things like that, just write it out and then talk about it. I have some really cool guests coming in. I just want to start off slowly for now, but other than that, suck my dick. I just wanted to say that. I love you guys. Bye.